They say family is supposed to be your backbone, the ones who cheer for you when the world turns its back. But what happens when the people you sacrifice everything for are the very ones who stab you in the heart? My name is Zinhle, and I learned the hardest lesson about family loyalty the year my sister got married. It was supposed to be a celebration of love, but for me, it turned into a slow unraveling of betrayal, shame, and heartbreak. What started with a simple request, "Please help us with some money for your sister's wedding," spiraled into something I never imagined. I was drained of everything I had, called names by my own mother, and humiliated in front of the very people I had sacrificed for. And when the final insult came, something inside me broke. This is my story. I grew up in Soweto, South Africa, the middle child between my older sister, Nomsa, and my younger brother, Lunga. My parents worked hard, but money was always tight. I learned early that if I wanted anything beyond the basics, I had to work for it myself. By the time I was 27, I was doing well. I had a stable job as a financial consultant, drove my own car, and even managed to buy a small 2-bedroom townhouse in Johannesburg. It wasn't much, but it was mine. My family often said I was the strong one, the dependable one. And maybe that's why, when trouble came, they all looked to me. It started innocently enough. One Sunday afternoon, my mother called me into the kitchen after lunch. She had that cautious tone in her voice, the one she used when she was about to ask for something big. "Zinhle," she began, "you know your sister is getting married next year. We want to give her the wedding she deserves." I smiled. Nomsa had always been the princess of the family, the beautiful one, the one who could melt anyone's heart with a smile. She had found a good man, Thabo, and they were both deeply in love. I was genuinely happy for her. "Of course, Mama," I said. "What do you need me to do?" She hesitated before answering. "The costs are high. The venue alone is demanding a deposit of $150,000. Your father and I have managed to put together some, but we were hoping you could assist." I swallowed. That was a lot of money. More than I had ever given anyone before. "Mama, that's almost my entire savings," I said carefully. Her eyes softened. "My child, you're the only one who can help. This is your sister's once-in-a-lifetime event. You know how people will talk if her wedding looks small. Think about our family name. Think about your sister's happiness." The guilt tugged at me. I remembered how Nomsa had always stood up for me when we were kids, how she'd shared her food when I was hungry. It felt wrong to deny her now. "Okay," I said finally, "I'll help." That was the beginning. Over the next 6 months, it wasn't just the deposit. It was the catering, the decor, the dress fittings, even the bridesmaids' accessories. Each time, my mother would call with another request, her voice always urgent, always laced with that subtle reminder, family comes first, Zinhle. You can't put money above blood. By the time the wedding week approached, I had spent nearly $50,000 in total. Converted, it was more than 900,000 rand. My bank account was practically empty, my dreams of investing in a second property gone. But I told myself it was worth it. My sister would have her dream wedding. The day before the wedding, I arrived at my parents' house to help with final preparations. I was exhausted but proud of myself. Without me, none of this would have been possible. But the moment I walked in, I noticed the way my mother looked at me. Her eyes scanned my dress, a simple navy blue gown I had bought 2 years back. Her lips tightened. "Zinhle," she said sharply, pulling me aside. "What are you wearing?" I frowned. "This? It's one of my best dresses. I thought it would be fine for the wedding." "Fine," she repeated, her voice dripping with disdain. "This is your sister's big day. You'll embarrass us all if you show up looking trashy." The word hit me like a slap. Trashy. I stood there, stunned. After everything I had done, after draining my life savings for this wedding, she was calling me trashy? "Mama," I whispered, my throat tight. I've given everything for this wedding. I can't even afford new clothes because I've been paying for everything else. She waved her hand dismissively. That's not my concern. People will be watching. They mustn't think you're the poor relative. You should have planned better. Now go find something decent. Buy, I don't care. Just don't embarrass us. I felt tears sting my eyes. For the first time, I saw the truth. To my mother, I wasn't a daughter to be loved and respected. I was a resource, a bank account she could drain. That night, I drove home in silence, my chest heavy with hurt. I looked at my reflection in the mirror and wondered if maybe she was right. Maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe my worth to this family was only in what I could provide. The next day, the wedding unfolded like a royal affair. The hall glittered with lights, the decor breathtaking. Guests whispered in awe at the grandeur of it all. I stood quietly in the background, watching as my sister floated in like a queen, radiant in her white gown. Everyone praised her. Everyone praised my parents. No one mentioned me. At one point during the reception, I overheard a group of relatives gossiping at a table. Namsa's wedding is the talk of the town, one auntie said. Her parents really went all out. Yes, another replied. But look at Zinhle. Doesn't she look out of place? Almost cheap. Their laughter sliced through me. They didn't know I had paid for everything they were enjoying. To them, I was just the awkward, underdressed sister lurking in the shadows. I wanted to scream. To tell everyone the truth. But I stayed silent. Because if I spoke, I would look bitter. And bitter women are always painted as villains. When the speeches began, I waited for my turn. Surely my mother or sister would mention me, thank me for the sacrifices I had made. But speech after speech rolled by, gratitude to the groom's family, to the pastor, to distant relatives who had only contributed a fraction. My name was never spoken. By the time the night ended, something inside me had changed. The hurt had hardened into something darker. Driving home alone, I gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. My mother's voice echoed in my head, Trashy. Embarrassment. Not enough. And in that moment, I made a decision. If my family only saw me as a wallet, if they thought I was trashy and unworthy despite everything I had done, then maybe it was time to show them what life looked like without me. Maybe it was time they learned the true cost of betrayal. The morning after the wedding, I woke up with swollen eyes and an empty heart. My phone buzzed nonstop with family WhatsApp messages, photos of Namsa in her gown, selfies of relatives showing off the decor, endless praise about how Mama and Papa really know how to host. Not once did anyone acknowledge me. I sat at my kitchen table, staring at my bank statement. The red numbers mocked me. Months of saving, years of planning for my future, gone. I had nothing to show for it. No recognition, no appreciation, only humiliation. I thought about my mother's words again, trashy. That word gnawed at my spirit. She had reduced me, her own daughter, to nothing more than a poorly dressed embarrassment. That evening, I got a call from Namsa. My chest tightened when I saw her name. Maybe, just maybe, she would thank me. Hey, Cece, she said cheerfully. Wasn't the wedding beautiful? Yes, I replied stiffly. I'm so grateful to everyone, she continued, her voice dreamy. Tabo's parents really outdid themselves with the gifts. And my friends, I feel so blessed. I waited. Silence stretched. She wasn't going to mention it. Namsa, I said finally, my voice shaking. Do you realize I spent nearly R1 million on your wedding? Do you realize I gave up everything for you? There was a pause on the line. Then she laughed awkwardly. Oh, Zinhle. Don't make this about money. You're always so dramatic. Weddings are about love, not numbers. Besides, Mama said you were comfortable helping. Why bring it up now? My throat burned. Because I expected at least a thank you. She sighed impatiently. You really need to stop holding grudges. Not everything needs credit. Anyway, I have to go. Tabo and I are leaving for our honeymoon. Bye. The line went dead. I stared at my phone in disbelief. That was it. That was all my sacrifices were worth. Days turned into weeks, and my bitterness deepened. My mother never called to apologize. Instead, she phoned one evening asking if I could contribute a little something for Namsa's honeymoon expenses. That was the moment I snapped. Mama, I said coldly, do you realize I nearly emptied my life savings for that wedding? Do you realize I have nothing left for myself? Her reply was like a dagger. And so what? You're single, Zinhle. You don't have children or responsibilities. Who else should help, if not you? Stop acting selfish. Selfish. That word broke something inside me. I hung up and sat in the darkness of my living room. My chest pounded with anger, but beneath it was clarity. My family had shown me who they were. To them, I was a bank. A resource. And when I could no longer provide, I was nothing. That night, I made a decision I never thought I would. I opened my laptop and began drafting an email. It was short and simple but sharp enough to cut through years of silence. To my family, I wrote, "This is the last time I will allow myself to be used. You have taken my money, my peace, and my dignity. But you will not take any more. From today, I choose myself. Do not call me for favors. Do not expect support. I am done." I hit send, my hands trembling. For the first time in my life, I felt both terrified and free. But freedom has consequences, and I had no idea how far my decision would push my family. The silence from my family after my email lasted only 3 days. On the 4th, my phone rang. It was my father. "Zinhle," he said, his voice heavy. "What is this nonsense you've written? You want to disgrace us?" I swallowed hard. "Baba, it's not nonsense. I'm tired of being used. I won't do it anymore." He sighed deeply, the way he always did when he was disappointed. "You think you're better than us because you have money? That pride will destroy you, my child." "No, Baba," I whispered, my chest tight. "It's not pride. It's pain. You let Mama call me trashy in front of people after everything I did. And you said nothing." There was silence. Then, quietly, he said, "You're still our daughter. Don't cut yourself off completely. One day you'll regret it." But when he hung up, I knew it wasn't just regret my parents feared, it was losing their lifeline. Weeks passed. My mother sent messages, not of reconciliation, but demands disguised as guilt. "Your sister's baby shower is coming soon. Everyone expects it to be as grand as her wedding. Don't embarrass us." I ignored them. For the first time, I stopped answering. The true test came one Sunday when I visited church. As I walked into the pews, I felt the stares. People whispered. One auntie approached me, her voice sharp. "Zinhle, how could you abandon your family? Your mother says you're refusing to help with Namsa's needs after all they've done for you." I almost laughed. After all they had done for me? I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I simply walked out of the church, my dignity intact. For once, I didn't need to prove anything to anyone. But the hardest moment came later that week. My brother, Lunga, showed up at my door. Unlike the others, he didn't come with demands. He came with tears in his eyes. "Sisi," he said, "I know they've treated you badly. I saw it all. But please don't cut yourself off completely. If you leave, this family will break. I hugged him, my heart aching. Lunga, sometimes things have to break before people realize their value. I can't keep sacrificing myself while they insult me. It's killing me inside. He nodded slowly. He understood. Months turned into a year. My family struggled. Without me funding every celebration, things were smaller, simpler. The whispers in the community grew louder. Namsa's baby shower wasn't as fancy as her wedding. The family must be going through financial troubles. And though I wasn't proud of their hardship, I couldn't ignore the quiet satisfaction I felt. They were finally living within their means. Then one day, unexpectedly, my mother called. Her voice was softer than I had ever heard. "Zinhle," she said, "I've been thinking about the things I said. I was wrong to call you trashy. I was wrong to treat you like a wallet. I don't know why it took losing your help for me to see it." Tears filled my eyes. For the first time in years, she sounded like a mother, not a taskmaster. "Mama," I whispered, "I never wanted to leave the family. I only wanted to be loved for who I am, not for what I can give." There was a long pause. Then she said, "I love you, Zinhle. And I am sorry. It wasn't a perfect ending. My relationship with my family was scarred, trust fractured in ways that might never fully heal. But it was a beginning. A recognition. And sometimes, that's all we need." Looking back, I realized something powerful. Sometimes the people closest to us can wound us the deepest, because we expect them to protect us. But love that only exists when you are useful is not love at all, it's exploitation. I learned to set boundaries, even with blood. I learned that sacrifice without appreciation only breeds resentment. And most importantly, I learned that choosing yourself is not selfish, it's survival. So if you've ever felt used by the very people you call family, remember this: respect is not begged for, it's commanded. And sometimes, the only way to teach people your worth is by walking away until they learn it for themselves.